Oh, let us see what is happening. All right. I forgot to announce that I was coming back today, but since these are saved for posterity, I guess it doesn't matter so much. But yes, there's so much going on. So many things are happening. I hope you voted today. I did a couple of weeks ago. Done, done. Anyway, before I get started, as always, I would just like to state that there are many trigger warnings for this novel, this reading. I read it as is, I'm not editing, yada, yada, blah, blah. You should know by now. And if you don't know, well, welcome. This book is filled with troubling things, but it is amazing. I hope you all can hear through my stammering because I chugged a bunch of coffee and it has made me thoroughly hyper. Yeah, but I'm going to do my best. Anyway, starting from page 79, here we go. Dear God. Oh, I forgot to do a synopsis. A lot has happened. Celie has discovered herself. And Shug is starting to open up and become more of a friend figure, as opposed to, you know, just a worshipped minor deity in the house. Sophia is gone. She took the children with her. I'm bad at the synopsis. I didn't think about it until just now. Anyway, dear God, one night while Shug singing a hot one, who could come prancing through the door of Harpo's but Sophia? She was a big, tall, hefty man, looked like a prize fighter. She her usual stout and bouncy self. Oh, Miss Celie, she cried. It's so good to see you again. It even good to see Mister, she say. She take one of his hands, even if his handshake a little weak, she say. He act real glad to see her. Here, pull up a chair, he say. Have a cold drink. Give me a shot of white lightning, she say. Prizefighter pull up a chair, straddle it backwards, hug on Sophia like they at home. I see Harpo cross the room with his little yellow-skinned girlfriend. He look at Sophia like she a haunt. This Henry Broadnax, Sophia say. Everybody call him Buster, good friend of the family. How you all, he say. He smile pleasant and us keep listening to the music. Shug wearing a gold dress that show her titties near about to the nipple. Everybody sort of hoping something break, but the dress strong. Man, oh man, say Buster. Fire department won't do. Somebody call the law. Mister whispered to Sophia, where your children at? She whispered back, my children at home, where yours? He don't say nothing. Both the girls bigged and gone. Bub in and out of jail. If his grandbaby wasn't the if his granddaddy wasn't the colored uncle of the sheriff, who looked just like Bub, Bub be lynched by now. I can't get over how good Sophia look. Most women with 5 children look a little peaked, I say. I say to her across the table when Shug finished her song, you look like you ready for 5 more. Oh, she say, I got 6 children now, Miss Celie. 6? I am shocked. She toss her head, look over at Harpo. Life don't stop just 'cause you leave home, Miss Celie. You know that. My life stopped when I left home, I think. But then I think again it stopped with Mister, maybe, but start up again with Shug. Suge come over and she and Sophia hug. Suge say, "Girl, you look like a good time. You do?" That when I notice how Suge talk and act sometimes like a man. Men say stuff like that to women. "Girl, you look like a good time." Women always talk about hair and health, how many babies living are dead or got teeth, not about how some woman they hugging on look like a good time. All the men got their eyes glued to Suge's bosom. I got my eyes glued there too. I feel my nipples harden under my dress. My little buttons sort of perk up too. "Suge," I say to her in my mind, "girl, you looks like a real good time. The good Lord knows you do." "What you doing here?" asked Harper. Sophia say, "Come to hear Miss Suge. You got a nice place here, Harpo." She looked around. This and that her eyes admire. Harpo say, "It just a scandalous, a woman with 5 children hanging out at the juke joint at night." Sophia eye go cool. She look him up and down. Since he quit stuffing himself, he gained a bunch of weight. Face, head, and all, mostly from drinking homebrew and eating leftover barbecue. By now he just about her size. "A woman need a little fun once in a while," she say. "A woman need to be at home," he say. She say, "This is my home, though I do think it go better as a juke joint." Harpo look at the prize fighter. Prize fighter push back his chair a little, pick up his drink. "I don't fight Sophia battle," he say. "My job to love her and take her where she want to go." Harpo breathes some relief. "Let's dance," he say. Sophia laugh, get up, put both arms round his neck. They slow drag out across the floor. Harpo, little yellowish girlfriend, sulk, hanging over the bar. She a nice girl, friendly and everything, but she like me. She do anything Harpo say. He give her a little nickname too, call her Squeak. Pretty soon Squeak get up, her nerve to try to cut in. Harpo try to turn Sophia so she can't see, but Squeak keep on tapping and tapping on his shoulder. Finally, he and Sophia stop dancing. They bout 2 feet from our table. Suge say, "Uh-oh," and point with her chin. Something bout to blow right there. "Who this woman?" say Squeak in a little tenancy voice. "You know who she is," say Harpo. Squeak turn to Sophia, say, "You better leave him alone." Sophia say, "Fine with me." She turned round to leave. Harpo grab her by the arm and say, "You don't have to go nowhere. Hell, this is your house." Squeak say, "What you mean this her house?" She walk out on you, walk away from the house. It over now," she say to Sophia. Sophia say, "Fine with me," and try to pull away from Harpo grip. He hold her tight. "Listen, Squeak," say Harpo. "Can't a man dance with his own wife?" Squeak say, "Not if he my man he can't. You hear that, bitch?" she say to Sophia. Sophia getting a little tired of Squeak. I could tell by her ears. They sort of push back. But she say again, sort of end of the argument like, "Hey, fine with me." Squeak slap her across the head. What she do that for? Sophia don't even deal in a little lady. What she do that for? Sophia don't even deal in little ladyish things such as slaps. She ball up her fist, draw back, and knock 2 of Squeak's side teeth out. Squeak hit the floor. One tooth hanging on her lip and the other one upside my cold drink glass. Then Squeak start banging on Harpo's leg with her shoe. "You get that bitch out of here," she cried, blood and slobber running down her chin. Harpo and Sophia stand side by side looking down at Squeak, but I don't think they hear her. Harpo's still holding Sophia's arm. Maybe half a minute go by. Finally, he turned loose her arm, reached down to cradle poor little Squeak in his arms. He coo and coo at her like she a baby. Sophia come over and get the prize fighter. They go out the door and don't look back. Then us hear a car motor start. Dear God, Harpo mope. See, dear God, Harpo mop, wipe the counter, light a cigarette, look outdoors, walk up and down. Little Squeak run long all up under him, trying to get his attention. Baby this, she say, baby that. Harpo look through her head and blow smoke. Squeak, come over to the corner where me and Mister at. She got two bright gold teeth in the side of her mouth. Generally grin all the time. Now she cry. Miss Seeley, she say, what the matter with Harpo? Sophia in jail, I say. In jail? She look like I say Sophia on the moon. What's she in jail for? She asked. Sassing the mayor's wife, I say. Squeak pull up a chair, look down my throat. What your real name is? I asked her. She say, Mary Agnes. Make Harpo call you by your real name, I say. Then maybe he see you even when he trouble. She look at me puzzled. I let it go. I tell her what one of Sophia's sister tell me and Mister. Sophia and the prize fighter and all the children got in the fighter car and went to town. Came out on the street looking like somebody. Just then the mayor and his wife come by. All these children, say the mayor's wife, digging in her pocketbook, cute as little buttons, though. She say, she stop, put her hand on one of the children's head and say, and such strong white teeth. Sophia and the prize fighter don't say nothing, wait for her to pass. Mayor wait too, stand back and tap his foot. Watch her with a little smile. Now, Millie, he say, always going on overcolored. Miss Millie finger the children some more, and finally look at Sophia and the prize fighter. She look at the prize fighter car. She say, she eye Sophia wristwatch. She say to Sophia, all your children so clean. She say, would you like to work for me, be my maid? Sophia say, hell no. She say, what you say? Sophia say, hell no. Mayor look at Sophia, push his wife out of the way, stuck out his chest. Girl, what you say to Miss Mealy? Sophia say, I say, hell no. He slap her. I stopped telling it right there. Squeak on the edge of her seat. She wait, look down my throat some more. No need to say no more, Mr. Say. You know what happened if somebody slapped Sophia. Squeak go white as a sheet. Nah, she say. Nah, nothing, I say. Sophia knocked the man down. The polices came, start slinging the children off the mayor, bang their heads together. Sophia really start to fight. They drag her to the ground. This far as I can go with it. Look like my eyes get full of water and my throat close. Poor Squeak all scrunched down in her chair trembling. They beat Sophia, Mr. Say. Squeak fly up like she sprung. Run over behind the counter to Harpo, put her arms round him. They hang together a long time and cry. What the prize fighter do in all this? I asked Sophia's sister Odessa. He want to jump in, she say. Sophia say, no, take the children home. Polices have their guns on him anyway. One move, he dead. 6 of them, you know. Mister, go plead with the sheriff to let us see Sophia. Bub be in so much trouble, looks so much like the sheriff, he and Mister almost on family terms. Just long as Mister know he colored. Sheriff say, she a crazy woman, your boy's wife, you know that? And Mister say, yes, sir, us do know it. Been trying to tell Harpo she crazy for 12 years, since way before they married. Sophia come from crazy peoples, Mister say. It not all her fault. And then again, The sheriff know how women's is anyhow. Sheriff think about the women he know and say, "Yep, you're right there." Mister say, "We gonna tell her she crazy too if us ever get in to see her." Sheriff say, "Well, make sure you do and tell her she lucky she alive." When I see Sophia, I don't know why she's still alive. They crack her skull, they crack her ribs, they tear her nose loose on one side, they blind her in one eye. She swole from head to foot. Her tongue the size of my arm, it stick out between her teeth like a piece of rubber. She can't talk, and she just about the color of an eggplant. Scare me so bad I near about drop my grip, but I don't. I put it on the door of the cell, take out a comb and a brush, nightgown, witch hazel and alcohol, and start to work on her. The colored attendant bring me water to wash her with, and I start at her two little slits for eyes. Dear God, they put Sophia to work in the prison laundry. All day long from 5 to 8, she washing clothes, dirty convict uniforms, nasty sheets and blankets piled way over her head. I see her twice a month for half an hour. Her face yellow and sickly, her fingers look like fatty sausage. Everything nasty here, she say, even the air. Food bad enough to kill you with, roaches here, mice, flies, lice, and even a snake or two. If you say anything, they strip you, make you sleep on the cement floor without a light. How you manage us asked. Every time they ask me to do something, Miss Seeley, I act like I'm you. I jump right up and do just what they say. She looked wild when she say that, and her bad eye wander round the room. Mister suck in his breath. Harpo groan. Miss Shug cuss. She come from Memphis special to see Sophia. I can't fix my mouth to say how I feel. I'm a good prisoner, she say. Best convict they ever see. They can't believe I'm the one that sassed the mayor's wife and knocked the mayor down. She laughed. It sounded like something from a song, the part where everybody gone home but you. 12 years a long time to be good though, she say. Maybe you get out on good behavior, say Harpo. Good behavior ain't good enough for them, say Sophia. Nothing less than sliding on your belly with your tongue on their boots can even get their attention. I dream of murder, she say. I dream of murder, sleep or wake. Us don't say nothing. How the children, she asked. They all fine, say Harpo. Tween Odessa and Squeak, they get by. Say thank you to Squeak, she say. Tell Odessa I think about her. Dear God, us all sit round the table after supper. Me, Shug, Mister, Squeak, the prize fighter, Odessa, and two more Sophia sisters. Sophia not gonna last, say Mister. Yeah, say Harpo. She look a little crazy to me. And what she had to say Shug. My God. Us got to do something, say Mister, and be right quick about it. What can us do? Asked Squeak. She looked a little haggard with all Sophia and Harpo children sprung on her at once, but she carry on. Hair a little stringy, slip show, but she carry on. Bust out, say Harpo. Get some dynamite off the gang that's building that big bridge down the road. Blow the whole prison to kingdom come. Shut up, Harpo, say Mister. Let's try to think. I got it, say the prize fighter. Smuggle in a gun. Well, he rubbed his chin. Maybe smuggle in a file. Nah, say Odessa. They just come after her if she leave that way. Me and Squeak don't say nothing. I don't know what she think, but I think about angels. God coming down by chariot, swinging down real low and carrying old Sophia home. I see 'em all as clear as day. Angels all in white hair and white eyes, look like albinos. God all white too, looking like some stout white man work at the bank. Angels strike their cymbals, One of them blow his horn. God blow out a big breath of fire, and suddenly Sophia free. Who the warden's black kinfolks, say mister. Nobody say nothing. Finally, the prizefighter speak. What his name? He asked. Hodges, say Harpo, Bubber Hodges. Old man Henry Hodges' boy, say mister. Used to live out on the old Hodges place. Got a brother named Jimmy? Asked Squeak. Yeah, say mister. Brother named Jimmy, married to that Quitman girl. Daddy owned the hardware. You know them? Squeak duck her head and mumble something. Say what? Asked mister. Squeak cheek turned red. She mumbled again. He your what? Mister asked. Cousin, she say. Mister look at her. Daddy, she say. She cut her eye at Harpo. Look at the floor. He know anything about it? Asked mister. Yeah, she say. He got 3 children by my mama, 2 younger than me. His brother know anything about it? Asked mister. One time he come by the house with Mr. Jimmy. He give us all quarters. Say we sure do look like Hodges. Mr. reared back at his chair. Give Squeak a good look from head to foot. Squeak pushed her greasy brown hair back from her face. Yeah, say mister. I see the resemblance. He bring his chair down to the floor. Well, look like you the one to go. Go where? Asked Squeak. Go see the warden. He your uncle. Dear God. Us just squeak like she a white woman. Only her clothes patch. She got on a starch and iron dress, high heel shoes with scuffs, and an old hat somebody give Shug. Us give her a old pocketbook, look like a quilt, and a little black Bible. Us wash her hair and get all the grease out. Then I put it up in 2 plaits that cross over her head. Us bathe her so clean she smell like a good clean floor. What I'm gonna say? She asked. Say you living with Sophia husband, and her husband say Sophia not being punished enough. Say she laugh at the fools she make of the guards. Say she getting along just fine where she at. Happy even, long as she don't have to be no white woman maid. Gracious God, say Squeak, how I'm gonna tune up my mouth to say all that. He asked you who you is. Make him remember. Tell him how much that quarter he give you meant to you. That was 15 years ago, say Squeak. He ain't gonna remember that. Make him see the Hodges in you, say Odessa. He'll remember. Tell him you just think justice ought to be done yourself. But make sure he know you living with something, say Shug. Make sure you get in the part about being happy where she at. Worst thing could happen to her is to be some white woman maid. I don't know, say Prizefighter. This sound mighty much like some old Uncle Tommen to me. Shug snort. Well, she say, Uncle Tom wasn't called uncle for nothing. Dear God, poor little Squeak come home with a limp, her dress ripped, her hat missing, and one of the heels come off her shoe. What happened? Us asked. He saw the Hodges in me, she say, and he didn't like it one bit. Harpo come up the steps from the car. My wife beat up, my woman raped. He say, I ought to go back out there with guns, maybe set fire to the place, burn the crackers up. Shut up, Harpo, say Squeak. I'm telling it. And she do. Say the minute I walked through the door, he remembered me. What he say? Us asked. Say what you want. And I say I come out of the interest I have in seeing justice is done. What you say you want? What you say you want? He asked again. I say what y'all told me to say about Sophia not being punished enough. Say she happy in prison, strong girl like her. Her main worry is just the thought of ever being some white woman maid. That what start the fight, you know. I say, Mayor's wife asked Sophia to be her maid, and Sophia say, never going to be no white woman's nothing, let alone maid. That so? He asked, all the time looking me over real good. Yes, sir, I say. Say, prison suit her just fine. Shoot, washing and ironing all day is all she done at home. She got 6 children, you know. That a fact, he say? He come from behind his desk and lean over my chair. Who your folks? He asked. I tell him my mama's name, grandmama's name, grandpa's name. Who your daddy? He asked. Where you get them eyes? Ain't got no daddy, I say. Come on now, he say. Ain't I seen you before? I say, yes, sir. And one time about 10 years ago when I was a little girl, you give me a quarter. I sure did appreciate it, I say. I don't remember that, he say. You come by the house with my mama friend, Mr. Jimmy, I say. Squeak look round at all us, then take a deep breath and mumble. Say what? Asked Odessa. Yeah, say Suge, if you can't tell us, who you gonna tell? God? He took my hat off, say Squeak, told me to undo my dress. She dropped her head and put her face in her hands. My God, say Odessa. And he your uncle? He say if he was my uncle, he wouldn't do it to me. That'd be a sin. But this just little fornication, everybody guilty of that. She turned her face up to Harpo. Harpo, she say, do you really love me or just my color? Harpo say, I love you, sweet. He kneeled down and tried to put his arm round her waist. She stand up. My name, Mary Agnes, she say. Dear God, 6 months after Mary Agnes went to get Sophia out of prison, she began to sing. First she sings Suge's song. Then she began to make up songs for herself, her own self. She got the kind of voice you never think of trying to sing a song. It little, it high, it's sort of meowing. But Mary Agnes don't care. Pretty soon us get used to it. Then us like it a whole lot. Harpo don't know what to make of it. It seems funny to me, he say, to me and Mr. So sudden. It put me in the mind of a gramophone. Sit in the corner a year silent as the grave, and then you put a record on it and it come to life. Wonder if she's still mad Sophia knocked her teeth out, I asked. Yeah, she mad, but what good being mad gonna do? She not evil. She knows Sophia life hard to bear right now. How she get along with the children? Asked Mister. They love her, say Harpo. She let them do anything they want. Uh-oh, I say. Besides, he say, Odessa and Sophia, other sisters, always on hand to take up the slack. They bring up children like military. Squeak sing. They calls me yellow, like yellow be my name. They calls me yellow, like yellow be my name. But if yellow is my name, why ain't black the same? Well, if I say, hey, black girl, Lord, she tried to ruin my game. Dear God, Sophia say to me today, I just can't understand it. What that? I asked. Why we ain't already killed them off? 3 years after she beat she out of the wash house, got her color and her weight back, looked like her old self, just all time about killing someone. Too many to kill off, I say. Us outnumbered from the start. I spec we knock over one or two, though, here and there through the years, I say. We sit on a piece of old crate out near the edge of Miss Mealy's yard. Rusty nails stick out along the bottom, and when us move, they crack against the wood. Sophia job to watch the children's play ball. The little boy throw the ball to the little girl. She try to catch it with her eyes shut. It rolled up under Sophia's foot. Throw me the ball, said the little boy, with his hands on his hip. Throw me the ball. Sophia muttered to herself, half to me. I'm here to watch, not to throw, she say. She don't make a move toward the ball. Don't you hear me talking to you? He shout. He may be 6 years old, brown hair, ice blue eyes. He comes steaming up to where we us sit, haul off and kick Sophia's leg. She swing her foot to one side and he scream. What the trouble? I asked. Done stab his foot on a rusty nail, Sophia say. Sure enough, blood come leaking through his shoe. His little sister come watch him cry. He turned redder and redder, call his mama. Miss Mealy come running. She's scared of Sophia. Every time she talk to her, it like she expect the worst. She don't stand close to her either. When she get a few yards from where I sit, she motion for Billy to come here. My foot, he say. Sophia do it, she asked. Little girl pipe up. Billy do it his own self, she say, trying to kick Sophia's leg. The little girl dote on Sophia, always stick up for her. Sophia never noticed. She as deaf to the little girl as she is to her brother. Miss Mealy cut her eyes at her, put one arm round Billy's shoulder, and they limp into the back of the house. The little girl followed, waved bye-bye to us. She seemed like a right sweet little thing, I say to Sophia. Who is? She frowned. The little girl, I say. What they call her, Eleanor Jane? Yeah, say Sophia, with a real puzzled look on her face. I wonder why she was ever born. Well, I say, us don't have to wonder that about darkies. She giggled. Miss Seeley, she say, you're just as crazy as you can be. This is the first giggle I heard in 3 years. Dear God, Sophia would make a dog laugh. Talking about these people she worked for. They have the nerve to try to make us think slavery fell through because of us, say Sophia, like us didn't have a sense enough to handle it. All the time breaking hoe handles and letting the mules loose in the wheat. But how anything they build can last a day is a wonder to me. They backwards, she say, clumsy and unlucky. Mayor bought Miss Millie a new car, 'cause she said if colored could have cars, then one for her was past due. So he bought her a car, only he refused to show her how to drive it. Every day he come home from town, he look at her, look out the window at her car and say, how you enjoying her, Miss Mealy? She fly off the sofa in a huff, slam the door, going in the bathroom. She ain't got no friends. So one day, she say to me, car been sitting out in the yard 2 months, Sophia. Do you know how to drive? I guess she remembered first seeing me up against Buster Broadnack's car. Yes, ma'am, I say. I'm slaving away cleaning that big post they got down at the bottom of the stair. They act real funny about that post. No fingerprints is supposed to be on it, ever. Do you think you could teach me? She says. One of Sophia's children break in, the oldest boy. He tall and handsome, all the time serious, and mad a lot. He say, don't say slaving, mama. Sophia say, why not? They got me in a little storeroom up under the house, hardly bigger than Odessa's porch, and just about as warm in the wintertime. I'm at their beck and call all night and all day. They won't let me see my children. They won't let me see no men's. Well, after 5 years, they let me see you once a year. I'm a slave, she say. What would you call it? A captive, he say. Sophia go on with her story, only look at him like she glad he hers. So I say, yes, ma'am, I can teach you. Is it the same kind of car I learned on? Next thing you know, there go me and Miss Millie all up and down the road. First I drive and she watch. And then she start to try to drive, and I'll watch her up and down the road. Soon as I finish cooking breakfast, putting it on the table, washing dishes and sweeping the floor, and just before I go get the mail, and just before I go get the mail out the box down by the road, we go give Miss Mealy her driving lesson. Well, after a while, she got the hang of it, more or less. Then she really get it. Then one day, when we come home from riding, she say to me, "I'm gonna drive you home," just like that. Home? I asked. Yes, she say, home. You ain't been home for or seen your children in a while, she say. Ain't that right? I say, yes, ma'am. It been 5 years. She say, that's a shame. You just go get your things right now. Here it is, Christmas. Go get your things and you can stay all day. For all day, I don't need nothing but what I got on, I say. And fine, she say, fine. We'll get in. Well, say Sophia, I was so used to sitting up there next to her teaching her how to drive that I just naturally clammed into the front seat. She stood outside on her side of the car, clearing her throat. Finally, she said, Sophia with a little laugh, this is the South. Yes, ma'am, I say. She cleared her throat, laughed some more. Look where you're sitting, she say. I'm sitting where I always sit, I say. That's the problem. Have you ever seen a white person and a colored sitting side by side in a car when one of them wasn't showing the other one how to drive it or clean it? I got out the car, opened the back door and climbed in. She sat down up front. Off us traveled down the road, Miss Mealy hair blowing all out the window. It's real pretty country out this way, she say, when we hit the Marshall County road coming toward Odessa's house. Yes, ma'am, I say. Then us pull into the yard and all the children come crowding around the car. Nobody told them I was coming, so they don't know who I is, except the oldest two. They fall on me and hug me. And then all the little ones start to hug me too. I don't think they even noticed I was sitting in the back of the car. Odessa and Jack come out after I was out, so they didn't see it. Us all stand round kissing and hugging each other, and Miss Mealy just watching. Finally, she lean out the window and say, Sophia, you only got the rest of the day. I'll be back to pick you up at 5 o'clock. The children was all pulling me into the house, so sort of over my shoulder, I say, yes, ma'am, and I thought I heard her drive off. But 15 minutes later, Marion says the white lady's still out there. Maybe she going to wait to take you back, say Jack. Maybe she's sick, say Odessa. You always say how sickly they is. I go out to the car, say Sophia, and guess what the matter is? The matter is she don't know how to do nothing but go forward. And Jack and Odessa's yard too full of trees for that. Sophia, she say, how you back this thing up? I lean over the car window and try to show her which way to move the gears, but she flustered and all the children and Odessa and Jack all standing round the porch watching her. I go round to the other side and try to explain with my head poked through the window. She's stripping the gears aplenty by now, plus her nose red, and she looked mad and frustrated both. I climb in the back seat, lean over to the back of the front, steady trying to show her how to operate the gears, and nothing happened. Finally, the car stopped making any sound. The engine dead. Don't worry, I say. Odessa's husband Jack will drive you home. That's his pickup right there. Oh, she say, I couldn't ride in a pickup with a strange colored man. I'll ask Odessa to squeeze in too, I say. That would give me a chance to spend a little time with my children. I thought, but she say no. I don't know her neither. So it ended up with me and Jack driving her back home in the pickup, then Jack driving me to town to get a mechanic. And at 5 o'clock, I was driving Miss Mealy's car back to her house. I spent 15 minutes with my children, and she been going on for months about how grateful I is. White folks is a miracle of affection, say Sophia. Dear God, Suge right, she got a big surprise, and she intend to bring it home for Christmas. What is it, us wonder? Mister think it a car from him, for him. Suge making big money now, dressed in furs all the time, silk and satin too, and hats made of gold. Christmas morning, us hear this motor outside the door. Us look out. Hot diggity dog, say Mister, throwing on his pants. He rushed to the door. I stand in front of the glass trying to make something out my hair. It's too short to be long, too long to be short, too nappy to be kinky, and too kinky to be nappy. No set color to it either. I give up and tie on a head rag. I hear Suge cry, "Oh, Albert." He says, "Suge." I know they hugging. Then I don't hear nothing. I run out the door. "Suge," I say, and put out my arms. But before I know anything, a skinny, big toothed man wearing red suspenders is all up in my face. Before I can wonder whose dog he is, he hugging me. "Miss Seeley," he say. "Oh, Miss Seeley, I heard so much about you. Feel like we old friends." Suge standing back with a big grin. "This Grady," she say. "This my husband." The minute she say the minute she say it, I know I don't like Grady. I don't like his shape. I don't like his teeth. I don't like his clothes, and seemed like he smelled to me. "Us been driving all night," she say. "Nowhere to stop, you know. But here us is." She come over to Grady and put her arms round him, look up at him like he cute, and he leaned down and give her a kiss. I glanced round at Mister. He looked like the end of the world. I know I don't look no better. "And this my wedding present to us," say Suge. "The car. Big and dark blue, and say Packard on the front. Brand new," she say. She look at Mister, take his arm, give it a little squeeze. "While we're here, Albert," she say, "I want you to learn how to drive." She laughed. "Grady drive like a fool," she say, "and I thought the police was gonna catch us for sure." Finally, Shook really seemed to notice me. She come over and hugged me a long time. "Us two married ladies now," she say. "Two married ladies. And hungry," she say. "What us got to eat?" Dear God, Mister drink all through Christmas. Him and Grady, me and Suge, cook, talk, clean the house, talk, fix up the tree, talk, wake up in the morning, talk. She's singing all over the country these days. Everybody know her name. She know everybody too. No Sophie Tucker, no Duke Ellington, no folks I ain't ever heard of, and money. She makes so much money, she don't know what to do with it. She got a fine house in Memphis, another car. She got 100 pretty dresses, a room full of shoes. She buy Grady anything he think he want. "Where you find him at?" I asked. "Up under my car," she say. "The one at home. I drove it after the oil gave out. Killed the engine. He the man fixed it. Us took one look at one another, and that was it." Mister's feelings hurt, I say. I don't mention mine. "Oh," she say, "that old stuff finally over with. You and Albert feel just like family now. Anyhow, once you told me he beat you and won't work, I felt different about him. If you was my wife," she say, "I'd cover you up with kisses instead of licks, and work hard for you too." "He ain't beat me much since you made him quit," I say, "just a slap now and then when he ain't got nothing else to do." Y'all make love any better? She asked. Us try, I say. He try to play with the button, but feel like his fingers dry. Us don't get nowhere much. You still a virgin? She asked. I reckon, I say. Dear God, Mr. and Grady gone off in the car together. Shug asked me could she sleep with me. She cold in her and Grady bed all alone. Us talk about this and that, and soon talk about making love. Shug don't actually say making love. She say something nasty. She say fuck. She asked me, how was it with your children, Daddy? The girls had a little separate room, I say, off to itself, connected to the house by a little plank walk. Nobody ever come in there but Mama. But one time when Mama not at home, he come. Told me he want me to trim his hair. He bring the scissors and comb and brush and a stool. And while I trim his hair, he look at me funny. He a little nervous too, but I don't know why, till he grab hold of me and cram me up between his legs. I lay there quiet, listening to Shug breathe. It hurt me, you know, I say. I was just going on 14. I never even thought about men having nothing down there so big. It scared me just to see it. And the way it poke itself and grow, Shug's so quiet, I think she sleep. After he threw, I say, he make me finish trimming his hair. I sneak a look at Shug. Oh, Miss Seeley, she say, and put her arms round me. They black and smooth and kind of glowy in the lamplight. I start to cry, too. I cry and cry and cry. Seemed like it all come back to me, laying there in Shug's arms, how it hurt and how much I was surprised, how it stung while I finished trimming his hair, and how blood dripped down my leg and mess up my stockings. How he don't never look at me straight after that. And Nettie. Don't cry, Seeley, Shug say. Don't cry. She start kissing the water as it come down the side of my face. After a while, I say, Mama finally asked how I come she find his hair in the girls' room. If he don't never go in there, like he say. That when he told her I had a boyfriend, some boy he say he seen sneaking out the back door. It the boy's hair, he say, not his. You know how she loved to cut anybody hair, he say. I did love to cut hair, I say to Shug. Since I was a little bitty thing, I'd run to go get the scissors if I saw hair coming, and I'd cut and cut, long as I could. That how come I was the one cut his hair. But always before I cut it on the front porch. It got to the place where every time I saw him coming with the scissors and the comb and the stool, I start to cry. Shug say, well, sir, and I thought it was only white folks do freakish things like that. My mama died, I tell Shug. My sister Nettie run away. Mister come get me to take care of his rotten children. He never asked me nothing about myself. He climb on top of me and fuck, even when my head banged. Nobody ever loved me, I say. She say, I love you, Miss Seeley. And then she haul off and kiss me on the mouth. Um, she say, like she's surprised. I kiss her back, say, too. Us kiss and kiss till us can't hardly kiss no more, and then us touch each other. I don't know nothing about it, I say to Shug. I don't know much, she say. Then I feel something real soft and wet on my breast. Feel like one of my little lost baby's mouth. Way after a while, I act like a little lost baby too. All right. Well, that is where I am stopping this evening. So I'll be starting back on page 113 for the next reading. I hope you all enjoyed. even with my stammering and my over hyper coffee energy. I hope it's a great evening. We shall see. And yeah, have a great night. Thanks for listening. Bye.